My fitness coaching offer made me $23,000 in less than 7 days. Here is our Stripe just screenshot of 216,000 Norwegian kroners collected here. And then we have Friday, 2 days ago, 81,000 Norwegian, or around 9k USD. And before you think we've done anything crazy, it really is very simple. We've used just a profile funnel for the funnel we've used. So everything here is coming from content and stories. We've had not a big team at all. I've only had part-time setter, editor, and closer. Part-time, we've even closed most of these deals in the DMs. All of this is cash collected, by the way. And we have a full-time coach for delivery. The product is nothing expensive, nothing crazy. We've just done weight loss coaching for busy women. So around 2K for 4 to 5 months. The audience isn't even huge at all. It's 1,500 to 2,000 viewers per reel. So it's nothing big, and yet we have done it. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how we've used content. We've mastered different styles of content to predictably collect and gain new customers, collect cash up front, do bigger deals, not staying on a lower offer, and also how we use data to know exactly which content to post. So, the problem most coaches face today: they post content but don't know what to post when. Customers buy, but you have no idea what truly made them do it. You get views, maybe followers, but no predictable income or growth. You're reacting to what happens instead of using data to know exactly what you should do at all times, and you don't know where in the funnel your leads actually are and how to utilize content to get them past the next level. So this again causes, of course, stress, that you're more reactional throughout the week, less systematized and more reactional to whatever happens. If you have gotten a lot of leads or not, you will react to that with what style of content you make, and it's gonna be really hard to just get a structure on it and get consistency. And it becomes, of course, inconsistent, which makes it impossible to scale. And then I get it, because I've been there. I've been there where I was posting content with no idea of what was actually working. Some months were great, but most months they weren't. And I had no idea why a month was good or not. Like, I created tons of different styles of content. I tried tons of different mentors. And some months we closed 100%. We could increase our price twice. Increase, like double the price, and we could still close 100%. The next month we could close 0%. And I only did like small tweaks in the content, because I thought when we didn't have views but we had a high amount of sales, I thought, oh, we need to get more views and likes. So I focused more on that. But then again, the content that didn't get views but converted leads started getting less of that and more of just eyes into the profile. And more super cold leads reached out, came onto meetings, and didn't close. So it went from 0 to 100 to 0 to 100 all the time. And I never understood exactly what was behind it, like the fundamental thing behind it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because after countless of failed attempts and more than 300,000 Norwegian kroners, more than 30k USD spent in mentors, we cracked the code on exactly how to move leads through a funnel with content. And today I'm gonna teach you the exact system for free, of course, and show you exactly how we got our 23k USD week. So we're gonna look at something I like to call the content conveyor belt. And I want you to look at this like some sort of Apple quality ensuring facility. So you have the Apple delivery. Apples are delivered straight from the farm. Some of them are gonna be good, some of them are not. That's your fresh leads in. They're gonna be on the conveyor belt. They're gonna be moved by each content piece you post. They're gonna be moved towards the right. So the conveyor belt is pushing them towards the right. Then you have broad quality ensuring. There's gonna be some machine or some person at the conveyor belt, and he's gonna push away the apples that are the very worst, just to get some of the volume out. Like, move the correct ICP, your ideal customer profile forwards, and the wrong ICP will be dropped off. So this is your quality ensure that you get the correct leads down your funnel. And then we have the detailed quality ensuring. Here you will look closely at each lead, and only the perfect leads will be moved towards the end. And in the end, we have, with the correct urgency, you will be able to move the leads into boxes, and that's your sales. This is your sales, your booked meetings, and yeah, that's leads ready to just go. They're lifted into boxes, the apples are lifted into boxes and delivered from there. So what is all of this? What does this mean? And we're gonna look at three different terminologies here. It's top of funnel, which is your apple delivery. We have middle of funnel, which is your quality ensuring, number one. And we have your bottom of funnel, which is your quality ensuring, as well as lifting it into boxes. And I'm gonna walk you through every single thing here. So some examples from our content on top of funnel. But first, let's explain what top of funnel is, so you know exactly what it is, if you haven't heard of it. Chances are you've heard of it, but don't truly understand it. Top of funnel is getting eyes to your profile, getting eyes to your content, getting new followers in. This is where you reach out to the world, people that don't follow you already, and try to increase your audience size. So here you're getting the new apples, right? You've already sorted through all the good apples, they're put into boxes, the bad apples, they're dropped off. You're now looking for new apples, a new apple delivery. This is done. This is done with ads, and it could just be a normal follower ad, just a normal follower ad. Very easy to make, and it can also be done with surface level tips. So you create these tip videos that are just super easy to consume. For example, tier lists, recipes, exercise tutorials, reaction videos, and you can also do like viral reel formats, just a video, 7-second video with some text. Things that you think, okay, this is going to be viral. What's really important with these types of videos is that if you don't make sure to make these correctly, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get the wrong eyes onto your profile, the wrong people are gonna start coming into your pipeline, and then they are going to confuse you in your pipeline. You're gonna have way too many bad apples that you have to push out of the funnel. You're gonna use a lot of time on this step, like actually quality ensuring, and waste a lot of time. So it's really important that you actually create content that your ICP, your dream client, wants to watch more of. You want them to think, okay, this person is interesting, they are fixing something around my pain point in some sort of way, and when I click on their profile, I'm gonna click on their profile, I want to see more. They're gonna click, you're gonna have congruent content that is also about the same things that you talk about in these videos, and they're gonna follow. And that's how you get more followers to your page. So you could use the follower ads as well as these styles of content, or you could just use follower ads as well. That's also a possibility. But then again, just find something that works for you. So that's top of funnel, how we do it. And then we have middle of funnel. Middle of funnel, that's your quality ensuring, as I mentioned. So here you want to make sure that your correct ICP is moved forward, and you are constantly warming them more and more and more. So this content is your relation and value-based content. It's content just giving out tips, giving frameworks that your ICP can use in their daily life. Example of a framework is like a mental checklist that they can use when they're eating out, for example, or when they're on in a gym session, just a mental framework to how they should solve it, or if they should train heavy or train light, etc. Just tips, giving them value. And also relational posts, more from your life, behind the scenes, from how you work, behind the scenes of your training, your eating habits, etc. So that's a way to do that. And then the examples from us, we have long form content. We have a podcast where we create really just tons of valuable tips and insights to the busy women that we've been coaching, which is constantly warming them up. Here we have 1,000, and just the episode before, 1,300 listens, which is a ton of people when the episode is 40 minutes long. Think about that, 40 minutes. Most people watch like 10 seconds of a reel. If I had 100 of these 1,000 people listen through, say, half the episode, 20 minutes, that's like getting 2,000 people to watch around 10 reels. 2,000 views and 10 reels. This is just one podcast episode. It's really easy to make as well. And probably many of them listen to even more than that. So that's one way to do it. Stories, just posting daily tips on your stories is a very good idea. Relational, more like, okay, what do you think about this style of food? What do you think about this? Questions, that's a good way to do it. Q&As, for sure. Value posts, you could even go live on Instagram, that's a good way to do it. Value post, 3 steps to tighten up towards the summer. And they're also commenting the code word, right? They're commenting a code word. I'm sending them a freebie, a guide. So that's what I mean by plus freebie. You can have a freebie set up with ManyChat, for example. And here, around 132 people wanted the guide. Here as well, a ton of people commented. This was relation building. No man should have to say this about women, but someone has to. Here I told my story. Let me reintroduce myself. Here I also told my story. That's relational building. So this will work as your quality ensuring. You're ensuring that, first of all, people actually like you. They want to work with you. They look up to you. Then you will have authority over them because you've come with a lot of tips, a lot of knowledge, and you've helped them already in a lot of ways. And the same with like long form content and the stories and the tips, etc. So all of this just builds into the middle of funnel. And this, again, is going to quality ensure. It's a broad quality ensuring. If you only post middle of funnel, I'll get back to this later, but if you only post middle of funnel, what's going to happen is that you're going to get these styles of leads. They're going to just start to contact you. You're going to get tons of these leads to contact you before the detailed quality ensuring is done. And that's going to be a lot of leads that won't be able to afford your program if you're priced correctly. But let's get back to that later. Okay, so bottom of funnel, what is that? This is, as I mentioned, your detailed quality ensuring and also your urgency. So that means you want to, with your content, make people understand that, number one, you are positioned where you are positioned. Is it a cheap offer? Position yourself a bit cheaper, less like very bottom of funnel. It doesn't need as much bottom of funnel. If you need to show a lot of proof, that's bottom of funnel, showing proof that you actually know what you're talking about, your client results, and you need to create urgency correctly. Not only the I have 5 spaces left, that's all I have, but actually create urgency that's real. And the way you create urgency that's real, example of that, is just explaining what the cost of inaction is for your ICP. So what are they losing by not taking action today? That's an example. So this is like your hyper specific content. While this content is shown to a ton of people, it needs to be a bit broader. You need to hit a broader style of audience. This style of content, you need to speak to your ICP. And here, you need to speak to the deepest pain points of your ICP. You want to explain their feelings before they've even told you. They need to feel like you actually know what they're thinking better than they do. They need to get full faith in you. And with testimonials, like client success stories, you can show where they were, what you guys did, and how they have it today, how they're feeling today. And with storytelling, you can tell stories from your everyday life. I'll show you here. So here is just urgency, and this is a summer campaign. This is one way to do urgency. Another is also just telling them, what do you lose if you don't take action today? What does it actually cost you? And then we have storytelling, just a story from a client meeting this week, or from something I overheard at the store, or something I saw when I was shopping. Anything. Just use stories from your daily life and make it into a compelling story that has some sort of solution that fits with your method. So for example, for us, a system that fits your busy life, even in the worst of your weeks. That's what I try to angle almost all of my stories towards, unless the story is about unless the story is about urgency. Then I want to move it more towards urgency. And sometimes you can create some perspective change for your clients. So for example, it's kind of objection handling in your content. So why are people afraid to use money on themselves? Why are people afraid to take action today? Why are people all of these different things? And try to find your prospects like biggest objections and handle them. So the last one, story sequences. You want to post constant story sequences throughout the week, like 2 to 3 to even 4, with social proof, with perspective change, with urgency, with objection handling, with storytelling. Just mix it all up and create a ton of these. The story sequences in your Instagram stories, so underrated. All right, so this again warms up our audience. And now we've just been through like the basics of all these different things, like top of funnel, getting leads in, middle of funnel, qualifying and moving them forward, and bottom of funnel, moving the last piece, warming them up, the last piece, just showing that you actually know them better than they know themselves, and then creating the correct urgency so they actually take action and don't wait forever. And that's your sale. Now, you cannot just post these different styles of content. This is not even close to done with the explanation you need to know to be able to actually use this to move clients through your funnel as you want, because you need to know when to post which type. It's not just a 50-50-50 split or a 33% split. You need to track where your belt is actually breaking. Where are people falling off? Is it on sales calls? Is it that you don't get enough followers, etc.? And you need to shift your focus based on what the data tells you. And even more important, it's totally dependent on the offer size that you have in your ICP. So basically, if you don't get enough apples in, right? If you're trying to create tons of middle of funnel content to give enough value to your prospects that they actually contact you, and you try to do a ton of bottom of funnel to move them towards getting ready to take action and do a ton of urgency, but you're not getting any new apples in, it's just going to be empty here, right? You're going to be empty after a week. So that's not going to work. If you don't get enough leads in the first place, enough followers on your profile, you cannot contact anyone. You have no one to contact, right? You have to cold DM people instead, and that does not work as well as you might have wished it would. But okay, if you also do top of funnel content wrong, you will only get bad apples, and they're going to drop off here anyways, right? And if you do a ton of top of funnel content, which a lot of coaches are good at, they get tons of views, tons of followers, a lot of the correct apples are coming in, but then they have no quality ensuring. They have no detailed quality ensuring. They only do the top of funnel content, and they're gonna get a few people to contact them, just a few, but they're not willing to pay a lot of money. They're not willing to pay a high ticket price. Maybe they are willing to pay $50 a month, right? $50 to $100 a month. And that's usually what you get if you just spam top of funnel content. It's totally dependent on your offer size and ICP. So if you have like a young ICP, perfect. They're not willing to spend like a ton of money on fitness coaching, often, not always. And you could spam a ton of top of funnel content to just get a ton of the kids into your profile, and then a lot of middle of funnel to just give enough tips that they contact you. But you don't really need this if you're doing low ticket. And then if you move up to say $100 to $300 per month, then you have to have more middle of funnel to actually warm up the leads, make sure you're moving the correct leads down the conveyor belt, and then in the end you have to have some bottom of funnel to actually make them contact you. But you don't have to have as much as this of this part. You could have like a really small bottom of funnel, a really big middle of funnel, and a really big top of funnel, and that would sell. It would sell just a mid-ticket coaching offer. But when you're trying to sell a bigger offer, you need to have more bottom of funnel just in general, and a lot of middle of funnel as well, and just a fair amount of top of funnel. You want the correct people, not just everyone, into your system. You want to really move them quickly and good down with quality middle of funnel content, and then you want to have a ton of these styles of content, the bottom of funnel styles of content and proof. And that's gonna be high paying clients. So what happened for me when I had some months where I got no clients, like here, no clients, and really we paid, our clients paid $250 a month here. Here I sold coaching for around $600 a month, $700. And here we closed 100%, here we closed around 30%, and we had the same amount of leads. But here we burned through the leads. I'm gonna explain you exactly what happened. I was spamming middle of funnel content on this one. A lot of middle of funnel content, and what ended up happening was that we had a few people coming in from top of funnel, a lot of people coming in from middle of funnel, but we had no bottom of funnel. Almost nothing, even social proof. We had like no social proof. So leads were coming in, they were contacting us from the tips we gave, but they were not willing to pay a lot, right? So a lot of them just walked out on a price objection. If you get a ton of price objections, you should increase your bottom of funnel content. If you don't get enough leads in, as I mentioned, just increase your top of funnel content. And if you notice that you get leads in, but they're not moved, they never contact you, or when you speak to them in your DMs, they are colder, they have shorter messages, or they are the wrong ICP. You should increase your middle of funnel and improve. If they're the wrong ICP, improve your top of funnel. Maybe your ads, if you're running ads, maybe your style of viral content. And basically what I swapped between this, where we had low closing rate and a low price, and this where we had a huge increase in price, over double the price, but closed 100%. The difference, I just almost only, this was my split. I had zero. I had an ad running to get followers in. I got very few followers. I had a middle of funnel, just a few tips posts a week, and I had a ton of bottom of funnel content, right? So what did this do? It made all the current followers that I had, that I've already given a ton of value, it made them actually move down and contact. It made them get the urgency to buy, and they were willing to pay for it because they were so warm and ready when they came onto the meetings. But the flow in stopped. So after around a month, we stopped getting leads. After around a month, we stopped getting people to actually move down the funnel. The funnel was barely doing it. It was 1 week full of sales, and after that, everything stopped. And that doesn't mean we did anything wrong. I just didn't understand it at the time. What I should have done in this situation is to first have a huge bottom of funnel focus. Just close a ton of people, then reduce, because now my bottom of funnel is empty. I should have increased middle of funnel and top of funnel. Really increase top of funnel, increase middle of funnel a bit to get new leads, start warming them up, and then later I could increase again on bottom of funnel and close a ton of people again. So that's how you want to use it. It's really important. That is, of course, depending on your offer. Again, if you have a cheaper offer, more top of funnel is fine. If you have a middle of funnel offer, more middle of funnel is fine. And if you have a more expensive offer, like a high ticket offer, you need to be more on the bottom of funnel side. But that's not all. You also have to know what data to look at. You need to know what data to look at to actually move them forward. So if you're lacking followers, again, more top of funnel. If you have shit conversations and no one's reaching out, more middle of funnel. If you have sales calls, you're booking sales calls, but no one is closing, or there's a ton of objections, more bottom of funnel. If no one is contacting you, more bottom of funnel urgency. You need to look at the data, you need to track the data, and you need to be able to quickly shift from top of funnel, between middle of funnel, between bottom of funnel, and just move the leads down your funnel. Control the funnel. Don't let the funnel control you, as you do if you don't have your data, don't have control on your data, you're gonna let the funnel move you instead. So how did we do this the last couple of months? And I'm gonna explain this very simply. Basically, what we have done is first in January to March, we had a ton of middle of funnel and top of funnel. I've created just a lot of this or that, these styles. This style, a lot of recipes with controversial hooks, a lot of reaction videos, a lot of technique videos, and we ran follower ads with a high spend as well. So that's led us to get a ton of top of funnel content and a ton of views and a ton of followers. Then we've had a ton of middle of funnel. I've created 4 different freebies in this period. I've created 2 episodes to my podcast every single week just to deliver a shit ton of value. I've created a lot of posts where people are to comment a code word to get the guide. And we've had thousands of people read our guides and listen to our guides. And we've just spent a ton of resources on that exact part. But throughout January to March, I almost had no bottom of funnel. So the bottom of funnel was really empty. And what we saw, people were engaging more in DMs. We had longer DMs. People were actually eager to write with us, asking for tips, asking for help. But sales calls didn't close, and we knew exactly why. We had around a 40% close rate, nothing very crazy, but we knew exactly why as well, because we were pushing this, right? We wanted volume. We wanted people to come into our funnel. We wanted people to get a ton of value, and sales calls were just running when people contacted us rather than outreach. So what we did in April was the complete opposite. From April out, we increased bottom of funnel, we decreased middle of funnel, and we didn't stop top of funnel because you need leads coming in as well, but you want to focus your resources on the bottom of funnel aspect, because now you have a ton of super warm leads from running this from January to March. And then in April, when you start doing this, you move the last leads down the last part of your conveyor belt and you start closing like crazy. Your close rate is gonna go up. Your booking rate is gonna go up. People are gonna send more code words from your bio, the code words in your bio. People are gonna reach out. They're gonna get booked. They're gonna get closed, and you're gonna collect a ton of cash like you don't have to decrease the price like you might think when you don't do bottom of funnel. You might think, oh, I need to decrease the price, but most of the time it's just bottom of funnel. You should almost never decrease your price. It's almost always because you lack the urgency, the objection handling in your content. So that's the part you want to fix first. So that's what we did, and that's how we've been controlling the content conveyor belt. That's how we use content to control exactly where our leads are based on the data that we have. We track how many leads we get in, exactly how much they cost, how many content pieces we post per week, and how many followers we get on average. And of course, this is just one important last point. Your top of funnel content, you want to get views and reach. You want to get followers. Your middle of funnel content, you want to get followers, want to get engagement. You want to move people over to freebies. You want to get more and better DMs. And your bottom of funnel content, you want to get more inbound requests, more people booked on calls and call links sent, and a higher close rate. Those are the things you're looking for with your content. And when you master this, everything is going to change. You're going to be in control of your funnel. The funnel is not, content is not going to control you. You're going to control content, how it gives you clients, how you move the clients through the whole thing. It's going to make everything more easy. It's going to be just an insanely good system to learn and to master. And of course, even if you master it, here's what's actually hard. Because it's not just understanding the system, it's understanding how to execute it correctly over time, like knowing exactly when to shift your focus on content, which types to post, keeping track of the data and actually reading it right, creating top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content that genuinely hits your ICP. So not just hitting random clients and doing poor quality control, because then you're just gonna book a ton of bad meetings that doesn't close. And very few do it consistently and correctly enough to see the compounding effect it can have, as it has had for us with our 23K week. And this is one of just many systems I teach inside the Founder System. It's a full system for coaches who want to be able to not only live fully from their coaching, but also grow predictably. And here's what you get inside. You will have your personal roadmap built for where you are right now. The course, which is staged, so you start exactly where it's relevant for your journey. You will have weekly group calls. You will have content, DM, sales, and delivery calls just to master every single aspect and keep just working on getting better and more skilled. You will have weekly one-to-one calls, but this is only for our first 5 members. You will have systems for mindset, content, DM, sales, delivery, delegation, and data, so you know exactly how to do all of it. And you get to learn from someone who has not only helped others succeed, like most coaching coaches has, or mentors, but I've actually done the work myself and succeeded myself. So here's the Discord channel. You will get full access to that. You will get your own dashboard with your personal roadmap, with your trackers, with every single thing that you need to succeed as a coach. So if you want to join us, that's perfectly fine. If you don't, that's also perfectly fine. There's 2 links below the video, one to my Instagram page where you can send me a code word for more information, and one directly to my Calendly link where you can book a call. No matter what you do, start implementing, start testing the system for yourself, and start moving leads predictably through your funnel and track your data. And I'll see you in the next video.